Bobby Pulido, the first ever Tejano artist to sign $1 million contract.
Cha-ching.
And how he feels about Jesse Turner in Grupo Signo.
What?
Plus, he does a pretty good impression of his father, the legendary Roberto Pulido.
El Primo.
All this and much more coming up on the world premiere podcast of Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic.
Come on now.
I'm Jackie Lynn. After 11 and a half years, he's back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, although we wouldn't recommend boys and girls listen to this show,
Oh, no.
the one and only AC Cruz.
Oh my goodness. Oh God. What a pleasant blast from the past. Jackie Lynn, thank you so much. You know, when I first met Jackie Lynn was at P104. Crush, admit it, crush. She's so awesome. 11 and a half years? Has it been 11 and a half years? What the hell? That's crazy. Well, first of all, this is the premiere, inaugural, whatever you want to call it, for the first time ever, podcast with yours truly, AC Cruz. Man, it's been a while, hasn't it? Why, when, where, and how? Let's see. Where do I start? I decided to do this podcast because there's several reasons. First of all, I want to thank the people that encouraged me to do this. Real close friends of mine, family, what have you. I want to thank Hector Reyes, who's helped me produce some of this. He hears my ideas and he runs with them. And then I say, no, that's totally wrong. I'm just fucking with you, Hector. Oh, by the way, you're going to hear some coarse language, just FYI. Coarse language, explicit language, whatever. It's just me being me, you know that. Anyway, Hector, thank you so much. Jackie Lynn, obviously. Thank you, Jackie. Close family. Thanks, Abby. My brothers and sisters. Sylvia, Abby, Linda, Brother Pete, Brother Xavier, and of course my daughter, Alyssa, and her husband, Mark, who is the guy that did my logo. He's a graphic artist, and I tell you what, if you ever need some graphic art done, he's the man. If you don't like my logo, well, blame him. Messing with you, Mark. Thank you so much. I'm going to go through this series thanking people. Just bear with me, though. So, let's see. Why have I been out so long? Well, the last place that I worked was Corpus. That was 2007. And I came up to San Antonio, and my sister Linda, who's the youngest of the sisters. Well, no, I got Melissa down up in Houston. Same father, different moms, but tell you what, Irene, awesome. That's my stepmom. I call her my stepmom. Irene, much love. Of course, Melissa is my youngest sister. So anyway, when I left radio and came up to San Antonio and helped my sister out run her bar, how convenient. Anyway, we all know that AC drinks beer. So anyway, I would DJ around town at some of the clubs, some of the cantinas, the sports bars, or what have you. Now, when I say the word DJ, I've often mentioned in my Facebook page, and that's another reason why I did this podcast, because Facebook. I don't consider myself a DJ because DJs are awesome. I'm talking to you. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The guys that manipulate sound and beats, keep the party going. Now, don't get me wrong. I can keep an AC party going with my mix of music. I can play some AC/DC, some David Garza, some Tigrillos, Ramon Ayala. Hell yeah. At the end of the night, ain't nothing like Ramon Ayala, no? Tragos amargo, vámonos chinga. So yeah, on Facebook, a lot of you guys say, AC, how come you don't get back in the scene? Get back on the radio. Well, one, I'm never going back to radio. And people say never say never, but no, I don't plan on it. Although, I thank you so much for all the offers. I won't mention anybody because that wouldn't be right to the person that's there. When they mentioned on social media, I should start a podcast. I said, yeah, well, let me think about it. And you know me, I'm just clowning around, joking around, whatever, on Facebook. Putting jokes in the morning, because I tell you what, I wake up every frickin' morning at 4:45, 5 o'clock. I'm wide awake. Doesn't matter what time I went to sleep, I'm wide awake. And somebody told me, says, it's all those years of doing the morning show. Hombre, when I did the morning show, I wake up at 6 o'clock to be on the air at 6:15. Ay, Dios mío. So I do those jokes and I'm clowning around on social media. And a lot of you guys talking about this podcast. So what really kicked it in was when Don Max passed, my morning partner in the Rio Grande Valley. Although we didn't stay in touch quite a while, we would catch up about maybe once, twice a month. When he passed, it kind of hit me kind of hard. So I put up those Facebook Throwback Thursdays. me and Max and some of the stuff we did. And then in the middle of April, a friend of mine from Corpus passed, Dana Solis, and her sisters were like, AC, want to let you know, blah, blah. Shout out to her husband, Güero. My condolences, brother. Hope you're doing well. And of course to Max's sister, Patricia. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Anyway, and then when Jimmy passed, Jimmy Gonzalez did Grupo Mas. That was kind of hard. And I talk about this in the show later on. An old schoolmate, Aurora, she said, you need to do a podcast. So I looked into it. I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. Maybe you guys are all right. I need to do this podcast. I ran it by a couple of people who I respect in this industry. Billy Santiago, down in the Rio Grande Valley, who encouraged me to do a podcast. Want to thank Alan Sells, Big Al. He says, yeah, man, do it. Oh, and I asked these guys, a lot of these people, listen, if I were to do a podcast, would you be willing to come on as a guest? Rio and Reyes, can you come on? Dave Biondi, BNet Radio, will you come on? I said, sure. And then I was talking to my sister Abby. And then I said, you know what, that would be great. Why don't I dance with the people that brought me to this dance? Or the people, not just the one date with the making myself laugh. Anyway, I do that often now. Make my own self laugh. Anyway, I said, well, what got me here to begin with? It was Tejano. My dad, my sister, my brother, Tejano. So I reached out to our next guest. I shared my idea with him. He says, that sounds pretty interesting. Nobody's doing it. I said, right? Nobody's doing it. So why don't I give it a try? I don't just want to interview artists. I would like to interview the man on the street, comedians, musicians, songwriters, even record promoters, the guys that got the music out there. And as a matter of fact, I've got one already confirmed. I will do it for you, AC. We'll see. I would like to interview some friends and reminisce about some of the crazy shit that we've done in the past. And believe you me, there's been some crazy shit. So, that being said, you want me to address the elephant in the room, right? And that's a big elephant. Okay, first of all, I was doing fine when I got our radio in 2007. 3.5 years clowning around here in San Antonio and Houston, Texas, back and forth. I had a stroke. I had a brain aneurysm which just popped in the back of my head. That's what caused me to have this stroke. Now, mind you, it's frustrating to me because of this stroke. That's why I usually start off a conversation with somebody who really doesn't know what my problem is. They still can't figure it out. Anyway, I usually start off with, hey, look, let me go ahead and let you know right now. I suffered from a brain aneurysm, which caused me to have a stroke. So sometimes I tend to stutter, or sometimes I have a thought on the tip of my tongue, but it just doesn't want to come out. And it's frustrating because I know what I want to say, and I know how I'm going to say it, but damn it, it drives me crazy. And sometimes I catch myself. So that's why you hear me saying, like, slow down, AC. And check this out. It only really happens when I get excited about something, a project or a point that I'm trying to make, and it drives me crazy because that's when I start to stutter, and my close friends and family around me say, slow down. Oh, and by the way, they will tell you there's one thing that I hate is somebody trying to finish my sentences. I hate that. Man, that is annoying. Like, example, this, and then I'll stop, and I'm trying to think of the word. I know I got the word, but I'm having trouble spitting it out, and they finish my sentence. I said, stop it. Stop it. I know it's going to come. Just stop it. Anyway, so there you go. That being said, again, let's go ahead and do this. Let's kick it off. The show is called Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic. What do you say we kick it off? You ready? Our first guest, man, Grammy nominee, Talent Music Award winner, Billboard, Premio Lo Nuestro, so on and so forth. The guy is amazing. Please welcome Bobby Pulido. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great.
¿Qué me cuentas?
Nada, naranjas, just
Naranjas.
still gigging. Have a show here in San Antonio tonight, and tomorrow we're in Buda.
Bueno, oye, mano, I appreciate you doing this, first of all. I haven't seen you in forever and a day. When was the last time that I saw you? Do you recall?
Oh, geez, I think I might have seen you at one of my performances in the back or something. No you didn't. That's true. We didn't.
The last time we saw each other, I think, I could be wrong, was the benefit concert we did for Katrina in Corpus at the Grand Central Station there. We raised a lot of money. Everybody paid for expenses.
Yeah,
it was you, Jimmy, Michael,
You have a better memory than I.
Yeah,
am.
well,
I think I've really. But yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's been that long, man. But listen, I need to let everybody know that I suffered a brain aneurysm, which caused me to have a stroke, and sometimes I tend to stutter or I have a thought on the tip of my tongue that just doesn't want to come out. So bear with me.
All right.
And by the way, thank you so much for all the articles and the nice things you said to me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. How's your dad doing?
He's doing good.
See?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's slowing down. My dad was raised in a different era, and his whole career they were party animals, man. About a couple years ago, my dad was living a fast life like he always has.
Yeah.
And about a couple years ago, he slowed down.
Well, good.
And so,
good.
Now he's a lot more relaxed, a lot more chilled, but he's still he's going to be there tonight. He's going to sing tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, I wish I could be there. Listen, the reason that I started, the concept that I'm trying to project here, right? Behind the mic that we got from way back when we first met each other. Do you remember the first time we met? Wait. Let me preface this, okay? The reason this happened because on Facebook,
right?
When I posted that Max had passed away, I'm sure you heard about that.
Yeah.
I explained everything, and they said they didn't know that. And when I post pictures, Throwback Thursdays, if you will, they said, "Wow, AC, thanks for posting some instant messages or messenger. You should post some more." And then when Jimmy passed later on,
right?
Jimmy passed, and then I wrote, "He's the one that took me down to the valley."
Jimmy.
Yeah, because when I quit KYST in Houston, I was doing commercials for him, and I saw him in Dallas dropping off some commercials. And he says, "What are you going to do now?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Why don't you come on the road with us and be our MC?" I said, "Silent." So I lived out of the Days Inn down in Brownsville.
Yeah.
And that's how I first got to know the Valley in 89, 90. So a year later, I wound up going to work at B104. And that's where you and I met with KBFM.
Yeah, you were at B104. It was before Que Pasa.
Yeah, and then
I'll
never forget because I met you with your dad, and you said, "I know you guys are partners with KTEX now. Can I get tickets to some country show?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. Just come see me." And you came by, and you picked up the tickets, and the receptionist says, "That's Papi Pulido." I said, "Yeah." "That's Roberto's son." I said, "Yeah, he's good looking." Yeah, he's still a mooch though. Ask me for free tickets. Yeah, that's the first time we met, man.
Well, it's been a long time, man.
It's been a long time. So basically, that's what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff that we did, and eventually get around to where are you now with your career? Are you happy? I mean, what's going on? So, what fond memories do you have back in the day when you and I first met and started hanging out? Because we hung out quite a bit. You know, some people say that you play too much of his music, la chingada.
Well, I think that was back then it was a consultant.
Really?
Yeah.
They call it insultants, by the way.
Well, yeah. Basically you got a bunch of corporate, number crunchers.
They try.
And yeah, well, no, they do. They crunch numbers, and they brought this format of playing the shit out of music all the time.
Yeah.
So the playlist, they probably played maybe 8 or 10 artists, and they rotated them and just. And honestly, I myself, I remember back then going, "You're playing me too much."
I
man.
remember you said, "Dude,"
because I would listen to the radio, and I would get tired.
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm tired, I can imagine everybody else being tired.
Well, there is a certain science to how often a person listens to the radio.
But you run away the diehards.
Sure.
You please the ones that are casual listeners, but the core audience that is really truly loves the station and loves to listen to radio, you drive them away.
When you say that, when I played your music too much, because you were one of our power artists that was on rotation, like Límite,
right,
like Intocable, stuff like that.
Tigrillos back then.
Yeah, Tigrillos. I'll never forget that we were in Los Angeles. I was there because I was nominated for a Program Director of the Year. If you remember, you were also nominated for something, Radio Música.
Yeah, I think I won a couple of awards.
And I'll never forget because you came over to. I was talking to the head honcho, Jose Bejar of EMI, and he tried to embarrass me in front of you when you came up to join us, and he says, "Hey, Bobby, this is AC Cruz, the guy not playing your music," and you told him straight out, "Bullshit. If anybody plays the music way too much, that's him."
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me on Jose Bejar, right? Because that's...
He tries to be a badass.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I want to congratulate you because you were the first artist ever that ever signed $1 million contract. $1 million.
Yeah.
Can't believe that back then.
Back
$1 million. The second one was Intocable, that was later on. But I was just impressed. Because do you think that has something to do with your business background? Because
I don't think you have to have a business background to be good at business. I mean, I was having this conversation with my son, and I said, I probably would be humbly saying this, but I probably have made more money than almost anybody in my genre.
Yeah, I agree.
Over the span of my career, right? And it's not because of my voice. Because there's so much more that comes into it in picking the right songs, in doing the right marketing.
Now, let's jump back to that because you say picking the right songs because what brought you on the map, brought you on the scene was Contigo, a song that you did with your dad.
That was an old song. Yeah. But that wasn't a plan. That was
tell me how that happened.
It was an accident,
for the people
man.
that didn't know that, please tell us.
It was an accident. I mean, I was going to St. Mary's University, and I was back home, and my dad says, "Hey, record this song with me." And I'm like, "Dad, I don't want to be a singer, man. I want to be a lawyer." And he says, no, but I just want to have something como un recuerdo para mí. And I was like, okay, fine. So we did it. And unbeknownst to me, he went and showed it to the label. And so 3 months later, I'm in college, and my buddies come over and say, "Hey, can you sign me an autograph?" And I said, but I had no idea. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" And they said, "No, okay, you're on the radio." I said, "There's no way, dude. You're fucking with me." That's what I would basically tell them. They go, no, you're on the radio. And I said, and I thought, oh man, my dad, dude.
What the fuck?
And sure enough, I called my dad from the dorm because back then there was no cell phones.
Yeah.
I called him from the dorm, and he said, "Chingao, mijo."
That sounds like you.
Pues es que no pensaba que le iban a sacar. And so he starts talking, and I'm like, "Dad, I told you, man." And the song took off. And so
I remember.
Then EMI said, "Hey, we want to sign you." And my dad's like, "No, he's going to college." And I said, "You better be quiet." I said, "You started this."
Yeah.
And I'm a college kid, not making any kind of money, scraping by.
Did you have a job when you were in college?
No, I never did. I always took a full load. And I'm blessed for my dad to have my back. But I was there, and I said, I was doing really good. I made the dean's list. I said, well, I want to hear what's going on, and what they have to offer. Mm-hmm. And now, at mind you, back then, when you would record, a good album probably was going to run you about $10,000.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
With musicians and studio fees and all of that. And so they went around my dad to get a hold of me.
Go ahead.
I had a meeting with Manolo Gonzalez. He offered me $7,000, and I said, "Manolo, it costs $10,000." I said, "Manolo, it costs $10,000 for me to do a CD. Yeah. I'm gonna lose money.
Yeah.
Or put out a bad CD, and I'm not gonna leave school for this." So I turned him down. 2 weeks later, he calls me again. And he says, "I want to get back together with you, make you a different offer."
By this time, that song is
the song was doing, yeah. The song was doing real well, and he offered me 15, and I said no. I said, "Nah, I'm not going to stay with $5,000. It's not worth it." I mean, I wanted to be a lawyer, so at the time, I was dating a singer.
Who's that? Come on now. Yeah, I gotta ask. Come on now.
Her name is Stephanie.
Right.
Not Stephanie Lynn.
Stephanie
Montiel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was a college student. She was a singer. And she was with Sony. So she said, hey, Sony wants to make you an offer. And I'm like, ooh. Nice. They'll fly you to Miami to make you the offer.
Ándale.
So I said, okay, great. I told my grandfather, because my dad was busy. I said, hey, go with me. Well, we'll go to Miami. We stayed in a cushy place. They made me an offer. And they said, okay, this is our offer for you. We're going to offer you $50,000 on the first album. $50,000 on the first album. And we're going to offer you $25,000 on the pick options that we pick up, which was three options. So it was a 4-year deal. They said the $50,000 so you could get started. And I was like, man, I looked at my grandfather and went, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'll leave school to try this.
Yeah.
For that money. Right? And so I got back. My dad's like, ¿Cómo te fue? I was like, Dad, I'm going to sign with Sony. He was with EMI.
See, I remember.
So he was pissed. He was like, they're going to be mad at me now because you're going to sign with a competition. And I said, their offer was $50,000 for the first album, and over here was $15,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't turn that. That's too big of a difference. So I said, I'm going to call Manolo. I'm going to call Manolo Gonzalez. And so I called Manolo. I said, I just want to thank you for your interest in me, but I'm going to sign with Sony. And he tells me, well, can I ask you what they're giving you? I said, no, I'm not calling you because I'm trying to get you into a bidding war. I'm just calling to thank you. No, but what did they offer you? And I said $50,000, and he did not let me finish. And he said, I'll give you $60,000 per album if you tell me yes right now. Now, my dad was making $15,000 an album.
Wow.
So I told Manolo, I said, my dad's making 15. If I'm making 60, that's an insult to him. He's a legend. Sure. I said, if you double his to 30, I'll sign with you right now.
Wow.
And he said, done.
See,
so I negotiated my dad's contract.
But you know what? It's shit like that we never hear. That is awesome. I never knew that. And I've known you forever, man.
Yeah.
But and it all started because he wanted recuerdo de esa rola contigo.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I think deep down inside, he always wanted me to sing.
Yeah.
He never pushed me that way. I mean, he never told me, hey, I want you to be a singer. But he was always proud as being he's a singer. And
so, Desvelado hits, no sé por qué it hits, all these songs hits, and that's when you and I became friends, and we did a lot of shit, you and I. You still owe me $200.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. We were shooting
I don't
pool.
know
We were shooting pool at Hot Spots in McAllen.
You can't beat me in pool.
Bullshit, because you said 8-ball break, 100 bolas, luego, boom. Did I make it? Yes, I did. Did I answer me? Did I make it?
Let me tell you something.
Bullshit.
I don't. I swear to God, I always say this. My claim to fame is I never owe anybody anything.
Oh, right on.
And I never. That's the one thing you can't get anybody out there that goes and says, "Hey, man, he owes me money."
Well, I tell you what.
Never.
I'm not gonna call you on that because you took me under your belt on the road. I toured with you for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You
anyway,
did.
Listen. Going back to the chronological thing. After Desvelado took off and everything else, you introduced me to my ex-wife.
Yes.
The daughter of a legend.
Of a legend.
Another legend.
Yes. Very
Amazing.
much so.
Yeah, and I fucked it up. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I know.
We still talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, when we got married, you were the best man at my wedding. You did that best man toast that a best man always does. And please set the scene, if you will, and let everybody know how the toast went.
It was a funny story because I got 3 boys, right? and you, I believe, have a daughter.
A daughter, yes, I do.
Right, and I know your thing was, I want to have a son, right? Every guy wants to have a son so their name gets to carry on. And,
yes.
And that's kind of the one you want to say. So I said, hey, I know the secret for you having a son. And you looked at me like, yeah, right, whatever. I said, no, I'm serious, dude.
Now, mind you, this is in front of 1,500 guests at my wedding?
Yeah.
It was down the salon packed.
Right.
Ramon Ayala, Límite, Palominos, everybody. Abraham Quintanilla. So the stage was yours.
Yeah. So then I said, I know the secret. Do you want to know or not? And you're like, yeah. And you were already hooked, man. I said, I got this guy. So I said, what you got to do is you got to kiss your wife behind the left ear and tell her the most hottest thing you can do to tell her. And then you got to do the right. You're going to kiss her neck. You're going to kiss her ear. And you're going to tell her just, dirty things. And when she is hot, ready, asking for it, give me a call because I make boys.
No mames, madre, güey. Well, needless to say, after that, it was fine. But anyway, that's a later story. But after that, what I want to talk about was that nice Wrangler that you sold me, the Jeep.
Oh, mm-hmm.
That I tricked out. Badass.
Yeah.
I tricked it out. Lift 33-inch Mickey Thompson tires. So you sold it to me at a good price, no? $5,000. It was booked out at $8,000.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You had to go to my comadre's bank to pick up the check, no?
That's right, Chris.
Chris.
Right.
Chris Torres. Yeah. Anyway, needless to say, during the divorce, the Jeep went to.
Oh, there you go. It's cheaper to keep her.
Hey, I should have.
No, I'm kidding.
No, it's all good. Anyway, so after we hung out, it was all uphill for you, or one would think. There were a lot of trials and tribulations along the way.
Of course there was.
Please tell me.
Well, I went to school. They taught you about different things. The one thing nobody ever taught me and I had to learn was money management. And it's very easy to get a big head. And I did. Because I made a lot of money. Yeah. And, after doing the deal with EMI, they re-signed me for the $1 million contract. And I was like, man, I was on top of the world. And I'm going to tell you, I was a monster. Not a bad person. I was a monster in the sense that I would go buy...
I remember.
Expensive stuff.
I remember.
And there wasn't nothing that I didn't buy that was expensive. I had...
I remember that was it a BMW, and we were going down to Corpus to do the Johnny Canales show, and on the way back, we were hauling ass.
Oh, yeah.
Down Chapman Ranch
Yeah,
Road.
I bought every sports car you could imagine,
man.
Right?
And the cops pulled us over. And you said, oh, I'm sorry, went so fast. Okay, slow down.
Yeah.
No see nada. And you had your gun with you.
I had my gun with me, yeah. but no, you live and learn, or at least you hope to learn, right? And I remember having my first fall. Because anybody that goes and says, oh man, I've been doing great all this time and everything's been great.
Son puro mentiras.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I remember looking at my bank account after having signed all that. Because you sign $1 million contract, just so you know, 37% or 39% at the time
goes to?
It's the government.
Yeah.
And a lot of rappers and all these other people, including, you think that's your money. I got $1 million. No, you don't. You got 600 and something thousand.
Yeah.
You got 600. Yeah. And so once you start spending all that money and other things, you went, hey, dude, I looked at my bank account and went, that's all I have? But I got a Mercedes. I got a house, this and that. And I had a rough time, man. I had to make a lot of decisions. I had to make a lot of decisions, that were hard. And start cutting corners and hustle. Hustle. And I'm telling you, I turned it around within a year. I was back to balling. But and that's when I said, you know what? God's given me another opportunity. I'm going to be smart about it. And I don't have to show off what I have.
Sure.
And I, it is what it is, man.
Well, that being said, being smart and making decisions that are for the better, what I freaked out on is when I heard that, because you told me this, and when you told me, I'm going to let you tell it, but the only person that I knew that did this, that I can remember, was Ray Charles. Nobody in the Latin music industry had ever done this before.
Oh, yeah.
You got...
The reversion of the masters?
Yes. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, I believe of the 14 albums, I think I own like 11 or 10.
belong to you.
They belong to me.
The masters from way back when.
That's right. When I signed the contract, I told them I'll sign this and I will give them to you for 10 years. And this CD is yours to make money for 10 years. But after 10 years, that CD is mine. And so now I get royalties.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You know, I mean, I own them. So I have good news, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
I recorded a song with Pesado.
Awesome.
And it's going to be a single.
Right.
And
good job.
so I'm going to go do a video with them with a song that I wrote. So hopefully the royalties will be really, really good.
Well, let's hope so. Speaking of royalties for songs that you've written, if you recall, we were coming back from Monterrey, and we were in the back of the bus, you and I, and you said, check out this song. Because I'm assuming that you value my opinion when it comes to music. That I can pick a hit, right?
You were a program director.
Yeah. What does that mean? Oh,
well, no.
Anyway.
I mean, that was your job.
So you said, hey, what do you think about the song? Era Anoche Yo Fui Infiel.
Yeah.
And I told you, yeah, but you said you don't know how to finish the song. I said, you know what? Make it a dream. It was just a dream. That's all it was. I was unfaithful to you, but it was all a dream. And you said, that's a good idea, AC. You better not be asking me for royalties later on. Do you remember that or no?
Yeah, and you know what? I never recorded the song. Norte Sur did, but I have it there. I have so much music that I have not put out. I haven't put out a CD in 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. The fact that you still draw. That's good.
You know what? I'm blessed.
Yeah, you are.
Very blessed.
Yeah, you are, man. That's crazy. 5 years? Why?
Yeah. You know, I got a little bit disenchanted with the industry. After all the labels stopped making money because of the piracy and downloads and all of those things.
Sure.
They now the deal is they want you to promote it. And I'll be honest, man, I spent on the last two singles, which was about 3 or 4 years ago, I spent $150,000, man.
$150?
Yes, on promotion.
And if you mind me asking, just overall?
Overall, Mexico and the U.S.
Okay, but certain markets or just
A lot of markets.
Okay.
A lot of markets.
Okay.
And it did not go well. I did not see any uptick in business. And the funny thing is, God's honest truth, right now to this day, I don't sing those songs in my live gig and nobody asks for them.
I imagine.
So you can just say, I threw away. I would have rather gone to Vegas and just to put it on roulette. You know, because the reality is, what are you going to do? I mean, I tried. That was and I've always been about investing. Nowadays, you know, with social media, I wish I would have done it. I put it in radio. And, you know.
That's not where we're going right now.
No way. No way, man.
Now, you know what? You bring that up. How do you feel about radio? I mean, I appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me, but what do you think about some of the radio stations? They're no longer, no longer active, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, why does it happen? You know, that's easy. I think that what our genre needs is creativity.
Like we're doing right now.
Well, creativity musically.
Okay.
And a lot of hustle. And unfortunately, I don't see that. I think there's a lot of bands that are younger that have the talent, but they don't go after the songwriters. They don't. The quality is not what it needs to be.
Can I ask you about some of those artists?
Specifically, no.
No, you don't want me to ask you? That's cool.
For a specific artist, I'm not going to talk bad about an artist.
No. What I'm saying is, what do you think about Jesse Turner?
I think he's one of the very few artists
who uses
that
social?
Gets it. No. Jesse has a great ear for music.
Okay.
And a great ear for hits. And he's one of the we need 10 Jessies because, you know, he's a young guy that, not that young, but but he's young that he gets it.
Yeah.
Right? He understands what a hit is.
Do you think that he is right now where you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
It could be.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes and no.
Why is that?
Because he hasn't broken in yet in New Mexico.
Really?
And I broke in pretty fast.
Yeah. You
and
do you consider yourself bigger in Mexico than the States?
What's bigger?
Well, I know since when I was with you, when I worked with you back in '99, because that's how I had to sit out my contract. We were all over Mexico, Bob. Tlalnepantla, Celaya.
Well, I live in
Salvatierra.
Mexico City now.
Yeah, I know you. Before you lived in Florida, no? Miami?
I lived in Miami for two and a half years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that we go down to Tampico, and you know what? I'll never forget. We were in Cancun at Hooters, or was it Outback at the mall, and they were swamping you like the Beatles. It was crazy, man. And then we did the arena, Plaza de Toros, and they were shaking the Suburban. Me, you, and Gerardo, I think, were we were shitting our pants, man, because they kept rocking the Suburban.
Yeah, that's
It's
when
crazy.
I was young and good looking, man. I was a teen idol, you know.
Yeah.
But it ain't like that
But
anymore,
when I
man.
say bigger in Mexico, that's how. I mean, you were.
Look,
now, mind you don't get that.
I make more money over there.
Okay.
You know, per show, it's more lucrative. So, yeah, in that sense, yeah, man. I mean, and I think that Jesse, going back to Jesse, he's doing everything right. They're doing it right, and Adrian is a great manager. And I think they're doing it the right way.
Now, getting back to the Mexico thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were in Mexico City? Now, you were on the bus. Gerardo was with me.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you think I'm going at?
When they threw the bottle.
And I was the first one to get out. Ponle, vámonos, carones. Put your dukes up. Ya madre. Vámonos.
Yeah, that was a different time.
5 guys, and I was to take on all of them. But the first one that I went for was what? Wearing a cast?
Yeah, he was wearing a cast, you know. I said, oh, well, that's really tough for you, man. You go beat up on the handicap, dude.
And everybody, you guys gave me shit for the rest of the way, man.
Yeah, we did. You damn right. Anybody can go beat up a handicap, dude, man.
That was crazy, man. That was crazy. Anyway, I had some good times with you on the road, man. Chingao.
Yeah?
You remember when I would wear that big ass red shirt and you would say, "Hey, Kool-Aid, pinche vato culero."
Well, yeah, you only weighed about 400 pounds.
I was a lot fat, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
bro.
Hey, listen, real quick. Let's go ahead and fast forward to when I got signed on to KWW. When I went from Que Pasa
Right?
to KWW, they had a big party for me, and you jammed. It was you, Jimmy. Matter of fact, pick up those pictures right there.
These pictures
Yes,
right
sir.
here. Let me see. Mikey.
How's he doing?
He's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's doing really good. Welcome back to the radio. There's AB.
We were dancing right to Porquita de Estaba Tocando Homero.
You were dancing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there's AB. You got no pictures with me.
There you go, right there.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. And AB is actually jamming on the bass.
It was Mas, you singing, and AB jamming on the bass, and a couple of tunes.
I just had a T-shirt on, yeah.
You had a red T-shirt, and by the way, thanks for dressing up for me, man.
I was a little Kool-Aid there.
Yeah, you were little Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But working at KWW was a blast, man. It was the short time that I was there because they flipped formats to hip hop, and that didn't do too well for them.
It did not do well. No.
Yeah, unfortunately. But then I wound up at KCB in Corpus. That was a lot of fun. But then I went across the street. About a year and a half there. Went to Club 98.3. That's when we did the Katrina benefit. That was very cool. But that's when you branched out and started working with other artists like Bad Boys del Valle, Frijoles.
Mm-hmm.
You were pleased with their work. I was too.
Yeah, they were good artists. I mean, you know, we went in on the record business and the whole label part in the worst possible time.
Why is that?
Because the digital had not been actualized, so they were people weren't buying CDs. They were downloading it from Napster. And so when you have an artist, you know, now there's iTunes and all type of formats to Spotify or whatever to put your music on, and then, you know, you'll be able to make something. It's not a lie. You make pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
But I guess it all can add up to something, you know. But back then we had a label. We were putting a lot of money into it, and we didn't get anything in return.
Same thing.
Yeah, business is tough.
Sure.
You know,
Speaking of business and tough, Robert Benavides, how's he doing?
He's doing great. He's in Houston.
Do you remember when you had your office in Houston and Norma Duran was the
Of course.
receptionist? And she's come a long way. Come a long way.
Yeah, she's here in San Antonio now.
And I remember I would call your office and I'd say, yes, is Mr. Pulido available? And she'd say, can I ask who's calling? And I'd say, yes, Mr. Martin Cohen. And she says, yeah, Mr. Cohen, I have him call you. Yeah, just have him call Martin Cohen. You know what? My friends call me Marty.
Yeah.
She says, okay, Marty Cohen.
Marty Cohen.
Desde entonces, after that joke, whenever I call you, what do you say?
Marty.
Cohen, ¿qué está pasando? Anyway, brother, listen, man. I know you got to get to your gig, but before we go, tell me what's going on right now besides the Pesado thing for the near future coming up for Bobby.
Look, man, I have a CD that's been recorded. I may show you a couple songs.
By all means.
Not out here on the air, but
yeah.
Anyway, I'm working on putting it out. I'm doing this thing with Pesado. I did a TV series called Las Buchonas that's about to come out.
By the way, the theater gig, how did you like that?
I did some theater in Mexico City.
Yeah, how long was that?
3 months I did it.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm a thespian, and I like women too. But no, seriously, I'm a thespian, so I know about. I love theater.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you went for you.
It went great. It was a musical.
Yeah.
And then I did a song with big band. I did a concept album as part of a concept album of different artists in regional Mexican singing with big band. And I'm gonna I already recorded the song, which is A Mi Manera, My Way, Frank Sinatra, and I'm gonna go record the video October 10th.
See.
So I'm excited.
Imagine. And what else?
Well, that's enough, man.
You know, one of my favorite. I was telling my friend Hector here, the live concert in Monterrey, and el Teatro Fundidora, ¿se llama?
Yeah, back then it was. Yeah.
And the stunt was to bring you on this cable.
Yeah.
And you said no, I ain't gonna do it.
I did it.
I thought you did. Oh, okay, that was you then.
Your memory sucks, bro.
No bullshit. My memory's fine.
Your memory sucks.
No bullshit. So you did it then?
Of course.
I didn't know that.
I bought the guys in from Hollywood to do it.
But then again, I got pissed off with my and drove back home. I didn't stick around for the show.
There you go.
Andale. That's what I get. Oh yeah. So have you done anything of that nature? Dangerous stuff?
No.
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 Have you ever been parasailing?
I have jumped off in a parachute. Yeah.
Parachute? You like
Yeah.
that? Rush?
Yeah, I do.
Would
yeah.
you do it again?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm big about all that. All that adrenaline rush. I'm all about that.
Yeah, me too.
Matter of fact, I was the bungee jumping record holder down in South Padre Island forever, man. Well over 50 jumps.
Really?
No, mine, yeah. They had a big.
And the cable didn't pop?
Dude, I'm serious. They bring out this big, you fucking asshole. They bring out this big cable, man. I swear to God. This bungee cord. It was a big.
Yeah, because honestly, bro, I mean,
okay.
don't take it bad, but
No.
they have a weight limit.
I know. Check this out.
And
though.
most heavy dudes can't
Dude,
jump off
when
those
I walked, Brett was the owner. He said, break out the big bungee cord. Anyway, you know that was the tower? That thing, it would go boom. Like that, it would shake, man.
You rock that
thing.
thing.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm all about bungee jumping, man. So anyway, good luck, brother. Thank you so much. All the kind words that you said to me during my time when I had my stroke, man. Your dad as well. Your dad, he always says, man, I've known him since he was 10 years old. By the way, you know what? I don't want to let you go, but without telling you this story. Behind the mic again. My dad came to visit me when I was there in the valley, living in Edinburgh. And we were driving around Edinburgh, and I went to see your grandfather.
Yeah.
Now, you know that your grandfather and my dad did not see eye to eye.
Yes.
And they didn't talk for quite a while.
Right.
Until one day, I knew your grandfather would be sitting on the porch because that was his favorite thing in his retirement, right?
Sure.
Sit on the porch.
Yeah.
And by the way, your family has been nothing but good to me. Long story longer, we pulled up. I said, Dad, get down. He said, ¿Qué va a hacer, mijo? I said, get down. So he gets it down, and we're walking up, and he says, oh, my God, AC. ¿Qué pasó, Chavarria? Your grandfather. ¿Qué onda, mano? They sat down, they talked.
I'm surprised.
I know.
Because my grandfather was the type that if he didn't like you, he'd tell you to your face, I don't like you.
No, I don't know, but I think they worked it out because...
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, because my grandfather was the most... direct, outspoken person I ever met.
One of the things that you told at his funeral, the secret that he died with, you getting mono. Please tell us that story.
Well, no. I had heard about what mono was. And, of course, I was in high school kissing all the girls and, playing spin the bottle and all types of crap. And I remember I became from a short, brief moment a hypochondriac. And I remember going, man, maybe I got mono. And I went to my grandfather and said, well, I don't feel too good, man. Can you take me to the doctor, to get checked? But it was like, why don't you tell your mom and your dad? Or, no, I don't want to tell them because it's a kissing disease. And, that's what they call mononucleosis.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, well, I'll take you. And he did. He took me to the doctor, and they said, you don't got anything. You're fine.
But your mom and dad never found out?
No, of course not.
I love it.
You never burned him in, no way, man.
Listen, when I first moved down to the valley, I needed to get a cosigner on my light to get light in my apartment. And I was driving around, what the hell I'm going to do? I didn't want to tell my boss at B104 because I just got there. I just got the job. And I moved into the Palm Villa apartments right there off of Freddie and Sugar. And so I needed a cosigner. So I was driving around saying, what the hell am I going to do? I called my dad. I said, do you know anybody that can sign for me? He says, well, you just left working with Joe and Jimmy. Have them sign. And they need to be residents of Hidalgo County.
Oh.
Yeah. So long story longer, again, I'm sitting at the stoplight facing east on University. Next to me is this big-ass Silver Eagle bus. It's your dad driving his bus.
Uh-huh.
¿Qué onda, AC? ¿Qué pasó, Robert? ¿Qué te pull over? What's going on? What brings you here? Que la chingada. I said, I told him what I needed. He says, come on. Your dad was my signer on my light when I first moved down to the valley.
And you're charging his son $200. Shame on you.
Hey, no, motherfucker. I'm going to tell you right now. You
$200
lost to me fair and square, goddamn.
Dude,
Come on.
I tell you what, I will whoop your ass 10 out of 10
Well,
times.
now.
Well, even then.
Whatever. Listen, Bob, thank you so much for being the first. I don't know if you'll be the first on the actual podcast. By the way,
I de-virginized you, right?
Yeah. So anyway, listen. Tuesday is going to be Javier Galvan. Anything to say to Javier?
Tell him I said what's up. I don't know. Is he still with the religion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
No, because normally that type of atmosphere is.
Well, go ahead.
Because my uncle was one time a non-denominational Christian, and one time he tells me, you need to stop playing that music for the devil. And I said, what are you talking? And he was serious. I said, what are you talking about?
Which uncle was this?
Joe.
Okay, right.
And I said, what are you talking about, man? He's like, you need to sing for the Lord. That's what you need to do. And I said, really? Like, seriously, you think my music, because if I'm not singing Christian music, I'm for the devil? So it always, when Javier got into that, I said, man, great. But it's a hard line to walk on,
Next coming up is going to be Michael Salgado. Any words to Michael?
Yeah, he's cool, man.
Yeah.
Michael, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Michael says anything for you, AC. When the valley didn't want to take a chance on me, you did. I said, right on, man, right on.
He lives here, so it's...
Yeah. And
cool.
And then Palominos.
Oh, man. Palominos is one of the best all time.
All time.
One of the best CDs, I think. Palominos, Corazón de Cristal.
Right
it
on.
had probably about 8 singles.
Wholeheartedly agree.
That's crazy. David Lee Garza, 1392 was another one.
Wasn't that awesome? ¿Hasta cuándo?
Yep.
Palabra, okay, ¿cómo se llama?
Paloma Sin Hidalgo.
So, yeah, that one. Oh,
the whole CD, a great CD is one you can listen to from top to bottom.
Do you remember Michael Salgado was the first one to start the unplugged performances that we did that turned out to be huge? Everybody wanted to do an unplugged performance, and you did. You bought your game on an unplugged performance because you had Chuck Gomez, your lighting guy, and he put behind you a fiber optic curtain that just stole the cake.
At the time, yeah.
It was just awesome. Now, getting back to creativity, I think when it came to promotions, I pretty much brought my A game when it came to promotions.
Oh, you could sell ice to Eskimos.
Sell a pack of cigarettes to the Surgeon General.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to move it to the Tejano Saloon in Far, Texas. Michael Salgado was first. Límite, Palominos, and Palominos at the time were doing 4-part harmony. It was just amazing, right? Amazing. Then there was La Mafia, And then you were actually at La Mafia's Unplugged show.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a good show as well. Listen, brother, continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you again. All my love to your family, man.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. That's a wrap. Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. I need input. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys didn't like, what you liked, or some feedback, some criticism. Even you haters out there. But if one of those things is going to be less foul language, less coarse language, less explicit language, it ain't going to happen. That's just me. I'd like to thank Hector Reyes for helping me produce this stuff. Mark Leos for the graphic art. I'd like to thank Bonnie Martinez and Ed Molina in Brooklyn, New York. Helped me out. More importantly, I'd like to thank you guys. If you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends don't like it, find new friends. Just chill to the next episode. Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic.